Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was originally released on the Game Boy Advance in Japan on November 11, 2004, and in America on December 7, 2004. An HD remake of the game was released on the PlayStation 2 in Japan on March 29, 2007, and in America on December 2, 2008. Chain of Memories takes place immediately after the first game, so let's get going. The story starts off, after a recap opening of the last game, with Sora, Donald, and Goofy resting in a grassy field. Waking up, Sora encounters a mysterious man in a black coat. The figure tells Sora that there is something that Sora is looking for on the road ahead, but in order to claim it, he must lose something dear to him in exchange. He then vanishes. We see a girl in a white dress drawing on a sketchboard. The trio come across a castle in the void of nothingness, Castle Oblivion. After you react to the voice that Sora has gone through puberty because oh boy that voice changed.
No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't...
Seriously? Me too. One look at this castle, and I just knew.
The trio decides to explore the castle. Now you may be wondering, where the hell did Pluto go? They are then approached by the figure again and attempt to fight him, but Donald finds that he can't cast magic, in which the figure tells them that as soon as they step foot in the castle, they forgot every spell and ability that they have learned in the last adventure.
In this place, to find is to lose, and to lose is to find. That is the way in Castle Oblivion.
Figuring that Riku and Mickey are in the castle, the trio follows the figure into a simulated world of Traverse Town. In there, they meet Leon, Yuffie, Aerith, and Sid again. However, they don't seem to remember Sora, but they all figure that something screwy is going on. After defeating the guard armor again, Aerith tells Sora that his memories must have been used to create the town, so that she and the others are just a projection of Sora's memories. She warns Sora to beware of his memories, and that if the shadows of his memories deceive him, he'll be led astray. Back in the castle, the trio come across the cloaked figure again. But before they can do anything, another cloaked figure appears, revealing himself to be a spiky-haired man named Axel. The figure then leaves Axel to test Sora. Sora and Axel fight, with Sora managing to defeat him. Axel then appears again, not being dead, and tells Sora to continue traveling up the castle. He tells him to trust his memories, and he'll find his special someone. He then gives Sora some world cards that he can use to access the memories of the worlds that he's visited in the past. As he leaves, Axel warns Sora that when his sleeping memories awaken, he'll no longer be who he is now. As they continue their way up, Goofy mentions that this is like the other castle that they explored together. Sora and Donald can't remember this, and Goofy is unable to remember the name of the castle. The trio then travel through past worlds including Agrabah, Olympus Coliseum, Wonderland, Monstro, and Halloween Town. After completing one world, Goofy continues to try to remember the name of the castle that he was talking about before. Jiminy decides to look at his journal which recorded their previous adventures and discovers that its context has become completely blank. We then see the girl in the white dress again drawing away. The trio worries that they might be losing their memories, but decide to travel on anyway. After completing the next world, we see Axel talking with a woman named Larxene. The two talk about how Sora became a Heartless and yet managed to return to normal again, saying that there's only one other man who's been able to do that. Axel then comments that unlocking the mysteries of the heart is the organization's mission. Later on, when Sora shows Donald and Goofy Kairi's good luck charm, he finds himself remembering a girl in a white dress. After completing the next world, Sora tries to figure out who the girl he saw was, figuring that the name is just at the tip of his tongue. We see this girl again, drawing a picture of her, Sora, Riku, and Kairi, all holding hands together. Sora then remembers the girl he saw. She was someone from his world when he was little, but can't remember anything else about her. After completing the next world, Sora tries to remember more about the girl. He remembers that him and Riku would fight each other to decide who she would draw next, the girl always drawing no matter what. He says that she left suddenly, but doesn't know why. Jiminy comments that as Sora forgets memories, he remembers some hidden memories that were previously tucked away, based on what the mysterious figure had said before. Elsewhere, Axel and Larxene discuss Sora losing his memories and obtaining new ones. Larxene then heads out to fight Sora, with Axel warning her not to break him, as they need him in order to take over the organization. Larxene tells Axel to keep this plan silent, and as she vanishes, Axel says,
"You would have been wise to have done the same, Larxene."
After completing the next world, the trio encounter Larxene, who goes about trying to make Sora remember the girl's name, saying that the girl is trapped at the top of the castle. Larxene knocks him down as a good luck charm in the shape of a star falls out of Sora. Sora eventually remembers her name, Naminé. Larxene threatens to break the good luck charm, but Sora snatches it back, saying that Naminé made it for him. They fight and Sora manages to fend off Larxene. Larxene leaves, giving him more world cards and mocking him, leaving Sora in a fit of rage. Larxene meets back up with Axel when another cloaked figure named Vexen appears. Vexen does not think that Sora is worth the organization's time and wishes to try an experiment. Axel gives Vexen a card that will help him with this experiment. We then see the feat of what appears to be Riku in his dark form. Sora then travels to more worlds, including Atlantica, Neverland, Hollow Bastion, and the 100-Acre Woods. After completing one of the worlds, the trio runs into Riku. Sora, happy to have found him, says that the two of them should look for Naminé together. Riku berates Sora and tells him that Naminé doesn't even want to see Sora. Riku threatens Sora to not go near Naminé, and the two fight. After the fight, Riku runs away with Sora chasing after him. After completing the next world, they run into Riku again, who tells Sora to leave and that he doesn't care about anyone else but Naminé. Sora challenges Riku to another fight, and after they finish, Riku runs away again. We see Axel appearing before Naminé, teasing her about Sora and Riku fighting.
You have my sympathies from the heart. But don't waste your time. We nobodies can never hope to be somebodies.
After completing the next world, we see Axel and Larxene confronting Vexen, saying that his experiment is failing. The mysterious figure appears and finally reveals himself to be a man named Marluxia. Marluxia warns Vexen not to cross him as their leader put him in charge of the castle and that all traitors will be eliminated. He then tells Vexen to challenge Sora and prove his worth. Marluxia then reminds Naminé of the promise that Sora made. As the trio continues upwards, Sora talks about a promise that he made to protect Naminé, a promise to always keep her safe. After completing the next world, the trio then encounter Vexen, who says that he is the reason that Riku is the way that he is now. They then fight, and after fending off Vexen, Sora obtains a new world card that Vexen says is from the memories of the other side of Sora's heart. Elsewhere, Marluxia marks Vexen as a traitor to the organization and tells Axel to dispose of him. The trio then find themselves in a new world, a place called Twilight Town. None of them have any memory of this town, but they continue on. They then come across Vexen again and fight. After being defeated, Vexen tries to warn Sora of Marluxia's plan of taking control of Sora. However, before he can say anything else, Axel attacks Vexen and burns him to a crisp. Watching Vexen die, Sora asks Axel what they are. Axel answers that, honestly, he doesn't really know. Axel leaves and returns to the Larxene and Marluxia, who praise him for his work. They then talk about using Sora to help the three of them take over the organization. Before Larxene and Marluxia leave, they tell Naminé to continue doing what she's doing and bring Sora closer to her. Back in the castle, the trio find Riku waiting for him. While Sora tries to tell Riku that Vexen is gone and that Riku is free now, Riku denies this. He tells Sora about a memory and a promise that he made Naminé and the good luck charm that she gave him. When Sora reveals that he has the same good luck charm, Riku becomes enraged and attacks. After another fight, Riku runs away yet again, Sora becoming more and more confused about everything. Riku's good luck charm then suddenly transforms into a new world card, this one being Destiny's Island. Upset at Donald and Goofy's hesitance to save Naminé, Sora runs off on his own. All alone now, Axel allows Naminé to run away and go to Sora, to try and stop everything that's been happening. Axel finds these current events interesting and hopes that Sora puts on a good show for him.
Hey, wait. I'm enjoying this. You guys are something else.
On Destiny's Island, Sora meets the simulated versions of his friends, Tidus, Wakka, and Selphine. They tease him about Sora wanting to be alone with a certain girl. Sora then runs into a memory version of Riku, who tells Sora to take care of her after the island starts to shake. As the island becomes more and more torn apart, Sora fights the dark side again. After he wins, Sora finally finds Naminé. Sora is overjoyed with happiness over finding her. However, the real version of Naminé appears, telling him that she doesn't truly exist in his world, or anyone's. Naminé pleads with Sora to remember who is truly special to him. The good luck charm suddenly transforms back into Kairi's, though Sora doesn't remember this. Back in the castle, Sora asks Naminé who this special person is. Before Naminé can reveal anything, Riku shows up and swears to protect Naminé himself. They then fight for the last time and Sora manages to defeat him. Before Riku can attack again, Naminé yells out for this to stop and Riku suddenly freezes and becomes unconscious. Larxene then shows up and tells Sora that this Riku was just a replica created by Vexen and was implanted with fake memories by Naminé. She also tells Sora that Naminé has been doing the same with him and has been taking away his memories the entire time that he's been in the castle. This was all a plan to turn Sora into their puppet, but the plan was ruined by Axel letting Naminé go. Larxene now plans to eliminate Sora, but Naminé tries to protect him. Sora says that even though he's aware of everything that Naminé did, he still swore to protect her. This is when Donald and Goofy show up again and help Sora fight Larxene. They manage to defeat her, and she dies. Naminé then tells the trio about everything and how she removed their memories. She tells them that there is a way to get back their lost memories, but that they have to defeat the ruler of the castle, Marluxia, first. Sora promises that he'll defeat him so that they can all be together. They leave Naminé to take care of the replica and advance to the final floor of the castle. Elsewhere, Marluxia confronts Axel about betraying them, while Axel argues that his mission was to eliminate the traitors. As Larxene and Marluxia wanted to betray the organization, he didn't have any other choice. They then fight as Marluxia transports Naminé to him to act as his shield. Axel, not caring about Naminé, is about to attack them when Sora runs in. Having been tricked by Marluxia, Sora fights Axel and defeats him. After his victory, Sora notices that Marluxia has escaped, taking Naminé with him. The trio eventually reach the end of the castle with Marluxia waiting for them. He tells Naminé to completely erase Sora's memory, which he refuses. The replica then appears and protects Naminé, giving Sora the opportunity to fight Marluxia. Sora manages to defeat Marluxia, but it is revealed to be nothing but an illusion. Sora goes to confront the real Marluxia for the last time, fighting his last two forms. Marluxia disappears and is dead for good. Sora returns to the group and the replica decides to venture out on his own. Naminé tells them that she'll be able to put their memories back together again. It might take some time, but she is confident that she will succeed. However, she reveals that doing this will cause them to forget everything that happened in Castle Oblivion, including Naminé. Sora chooses to regain his lost memories and lose the new memories he's gained. Naminé is saddened by this, but agrees. She takes them to a special room with a sort of giant pot in it. Naminé tells them that while inside, Sora will sleep as Naminé fixes his memories. Wanting to remember Naminé after they wake up, Jiminy writes a note on his journal that says, "Thank Naminé."
Goodbye.
No, not goodbye. When I wake up, I'll find you. And then there will be no lies. We're gonna be friends for real. Promise me, Naminé.
As Sora starts to fall asleep, Naminé tells Sora again to remember the one that is truly special to him. After much pondering, Sora finally remembers who this special person is, Kairi. As Naminé disappears from Sora's memories, she tells him that while he'll forget about her, with their promise, she can come back. During the credits, we see important scenes happening after the events of the game. We see Kairi still waiting on Destiny's Island for Sora and Riku to return. We see Axel, not actually dead, approaching the replica, offering his hand out. We then see a boy walking through Twilight Town. We then see a room full of high chairs with a lot of them empty. The others are filled with people in black cloaks, with one of them sitting high above the rest. Now while you may think that that is it for Chain of Memories, you would be wrong. After you beat the game, you then unlock a new mode where you play as Riku and follow his journey up Castle Oblivion from the basement levels of the castle. This story takes place at the same time as Sora's journey as well. This story starts off with Riku floating in a world of nothingness. He awakes and is told to remain asleep between light and dark by a deep voice. However, the voice tells him that if Riku wishes to seek the truth, he must take this card and awaken. Riku takes it and finds himself in Castle Oblivion. Moving on, Riku finds himself in his memory of Hollow Bastion. Exploring the castle, Riku comes across his memory of Maleficent and he defeats her after they fight. Back in the castle, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, appears before Riku. He wishes for Riku to serve him again, but Riku wants to refuse the darkness. Being cornered by Ansem, a light shines before Riku and he hears King Mickey's voice, encouraging him on. Riku fights Ansem, fending him off. Ansem then gives Riku some world cards telling him to advance through the castle. They decide to play a game. If Riku can make it through the castle without losing to the darkness, then Riku wins. However, if he can't, then Ansem will take control of Riku again. Ansem then tempers the darkness that still remained in Riku's heart, telling him that it's his choice to use it or not. Elsewhere, another black-cloaked figure, Zexion, ponders about the goings-ons in the basement of the castle, mostly concerning Riku and Ansem. He consults with fellow members Lexaeus and Vexen. Zexion finds that Riku's scent is similar to that of the Superior. They decide to continue observing. As Riku progresses, an image of Mickey appears before him and he offers Riku a bit of his power and will come to his aid when Riku is in need of it. Meanwhile, Zexion fully identifies the scent of that to be of Riku. Vexen believes that the person who holds true value is not Sora, the hero of light, but Riku, the hero of darkness. As Riku goes up the castle, Vexen appears before him and explains that his boss is similar to that of Ansem, someone who belongs not in light or the dark, but in the twilight between. Riku decides to fight Vexen and manages to fend him off. Vexen then reveals to have taken certain data from Riku. Teleporting away, Vexen gives Riku his thanks. Meanwhile, Zexion and Lexaeus fear that Marluxia and Larxene may use Sora to take over the organization. They decide to have Vexen and his replica take care of things. After clearing another floor, Riku comes across the replica. The replica claims to be superior to Riku, as he doesn't fear the darkness and embraces it. After they fight, and Riku defeats him, the replica runs away, mocking Riku for not using the darkness. The replica then returns to Vexen and the others, saying that Riku is a weakling. Vexen then wishes for the replica to meet and fight Sora. Traveling upward, Riku encounters Ansem again. Ansem continues to tempt Riku with the darkness, but Riku still refuses. Ansem gives him more world cards and Riku continues making his way through the castle. Meanwhile, Vexen shows the replica to both Axel and Larxene. Larxene thinks that Naminé should change the replica's memories to become more like the real Riku to be a better fit to fight Sora. Vexen agrees, and even though the replica struggles against it, his memories are changed by Naminé. Larxene mocks Naminé and tells her to continue going on so that she can finally become somebody in Sora's heart, and not just Kairi's shadow. Meanwhile, Zexion and Lexaeus lament the loss of Vexen at the hands of Axel. While they cannot eliminate Sora as their superior is in need of him, they decide to bring Riku to his side to fight against Marluxia's eventual betrayal. Continuing up the castle, Riku encounters Lexaeus, who attacks him. Even though Riku is able to fend Lexaeus off, Lexaeus manages to defeat Riku. But the darkness seems to take over Riku, allowing him to deal the final blow to Lexaeus. As Riku struggles against the darkness, he is saved by King Mickey, allowing Riku to break free. Meanwhile, Zexion laments the death of Lexaeus as Axel appears before him. Axel tells him that Marluxia will be the next to go at the hands of Sora. Zexion decides that with Marluxia soon to be gone, he has no more use for Riku. Continuing through the castle, the entire place shakes as Zexion appears and informs Riku that the master of the castle has been defeated by Sora. Zexion then gives Riku the world card to Destiny's Island and tells him to seek out the truth. Riku enters the world and encounters Tidus, Wakka, and Selphine. He also runs into Kairi, but she disappears as Zexion arrives, reminding Riku that it is his fault that this world fell into darkness. Riku is then transported to the island crumbling apart. Zexion mocks Riku's initial falling into darkness, and Riku fights against the dark side and comes across Sora. Sora yells at Riku for what he did and attacks him with a beam of light. In this world filled with light, Riku begins to fade away. He then sees a version of Kairi who tells him to use both the light and the darkness at the same time in order to fight. Riku then decides to make his darkness his own and manages to break free, revealing Sora to actually be an illusion created by Zexion. The two of them then fight as Riku manages to defeat Zexion. Zexion manages to escape but is then cornered by Axel and the replica. While Zexion believes that they should use the replica against Riku, Axel tells the replica that if he absorbs Zexion's power, he can become even stronger than the real Riku.
So sorry, Zexion. You just found out way too much.
As Riku continues upwards, Ansem calls out to Riku again and tries once more to take possession of Riku's body, but King Mickey helps Riku out again, this time appearing in the flesh. The two then team up as Mickey gives Riku a new world card that he found. Riku travels to Twilight Town and Ansem appears in front of him again. However, Riku manages to figure out that this Ansem, the one from the very beginning of the game, is just an illusion. Ansem transforms to reveal himself to be a masked man named Diz. Diz tells Riku to find Naminé so that he can decide whether to choose the light or the darkness once and for all. Traveling through the town, Riku encounters a replica again, who is upset that no matter how much power he obtains, he can never be superior to the real Riku. So he wants to destroy Riku, so that he'll be the only one. The two fight, with Riku coming out on top. As he fades away, the replica wonders where a fake like him goes to when he's gone. Riku says that he's probably going to the same place that he'll eventually go to as well.
A faithful replica, until the very end. That's... okay.
Riku then finds Naminé and he learns what happened to Sora. Naminé tells Riku that if he goes to sleep, Naminé can go into Riku's heart and remove the darkness still inside of him, getting rid of Ansem for good. Riku refuses though, wanting to fight the darkness on his own. Not wanting to sleep away like Sora, he goes off to fight Ansem once and for all, leaving Naminé to take care of Sora. Mickey introduces Riku to Diz and he gives them a black cloak that will help hide them from the organization. He also gives Riku the final world card and Riku and Mickey travel onward to face Ansem one last time. Riku finally makes it to Ansem and they fight again. Riku manages to finally defeat Ansem, who fades away, saying that he'll never truly be gone and will return one day soon. Having finally made it to the entrance of the castle, Riku and Mickey decide to travel together, with Riku wanting to continue to fight the darkness inside of him. Dressed in black cloaks, Riku and Mickey walk through a grassy field at night, coming across Diz, who asks Riku one final question. Will he take the road to light or the road to darkness? Riku says neither, and decides to take the middle road.
It's the road to dawn.
During the credits, we see certain important scenes. We see Riku and Mickey traveling in a new world, with Riku seemingly struggling, but still pushing on. We see the strange boy again in Twilight Town, and he is greeted by Axel. The two of them eat sea salt ice cream together at the top of the clock tower. As Naminé and Diz look on as sleeping Sora, a tall figure with long silver hair approaches them. And finally, we see the strange boy once again, interacting with a few kids his age. And it is here that we finally see the boy's face for the first time, bearing some similarity to Sora. And that's it, everyone! The 2 stories in Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. We were introduced to a lot of new characters and new plot lines have opened up, and more questions have appeared as well. Will Sora, Donald, and Goofy awaken with all of their restored memories? Will Riku finally manage to find a way to conquer the darkness for good? Who is Axel and what is he scheming? And what is this organization that the black cloaked figures seem to be working for? All of these questions and more will be answered in Kingdom Hearts 2. See you then!